Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 357 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about wide receiver Stefon Diggs signing with the New England Patriots. The Patriots have finally done what me and so many fans of the team have asked them to do. Basically, since Julian Edelman retired, bring in a legitimate number one wide receiver, and their choice is 31-year-old Stefon Diggs, who is a four-time Pro Bowler who since joining the league in 2015 is second in receptions with 857 and fifth in touchdowns with 71. Diggs ends up getting a 3-year contract worth $69 million, 25 of which is fully guaranteed. Yes, there were other options out there this offseason: DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, and Cooper Kupp. But what's interesting about Diggs is he has become the go-to guy for teams with young quarterbacks on the rise. He goes to the Bills with Josh Allen, and last year he went to Houston with CJ Stroud, and it was working before Diggs had a season-ending injury. He makes all the sense in the world. Next year is all about the growth of Pat's quarterback Drake May, and because the team lacks talent at the position, it's likely Diggs will be given a chance to catch his 100 balls that he wants to catch. Because that's the thing with Stefon Diggs. It usually becomes public knowledge when he's unhappy. It happened in Minnesota and in Buffalo. He's a guy who so clearly wants to be a number one receiver and will demand the ball. This should be a win-win for both sides. The leader in catches last year for the Patriots was Demario Douglas and Hunter Henry, who tied with 66, and the team only scored 17 points per game, which was 30th overall in the NFL. You know what Diggs is at his best, which is special, and at his worst, he's still dependable. This is a winning formula for teams. This is what you do. You give your young quarterback who you believe in a legit number one receiver and see the kind of numbers he can put up. I get the idea that maybe this isn't the big name you wanted if you're a Patriots fan, but this is a guy who played in your division with the Buffalo Bills, who usually roasted you. You know this guy is a special talent. He may not be Chris Godwin, he may not be A.J. Brown at this point, but he's still a good receiver. And there is something I do want to say to Patriots fans. Next season is not about winning football games. It's about seeing Drake May play like a franchise quarterback. They are giving him a chance they never gave Mac Jones. Yes, it's okay to feel good about them hiring Mike Vrabel as a head coach, but a coach can only take you so far. The future of the organization is in the hands of Drake May. If he is something special, within a year or two, you can go back to competing for Super Bowls. The winning will come once he develops into a franchise quarterback. Maybe I'm being a homer on my end, but I just see no downside to them signing Stefon Diggs. I've seen him play with Buffalo. He always puts up numbers, and he's an exciting player to watch play the game of football, something the Patriots have been lacking over the last few seasons. They don't have good playmakers, and this guy is a big playmaker who does have something to prove. He's coming off of the injury. He's used to making even more money than what he got from the New England Patriots. You know he's looking down the road and thinking to himself, I want to get another payday before the end of my career, and Stefon Diggs still wants to prove he's one of the best 10 receivers in the league. And he's only 31 years old. I mean, if we were talking about a 34-year-old Stefon Diggs, I wouldn't be that excited about this deal, but I still think he's got something left in the tank. The guy can still put up number one receiver numbers. I mean, I'm predicting anywhere between 80 and 100 catchers next season without a doubt. So this is something I saw a lot of online. There are many people who believe this is an overpay for a 31-year-old wide receiver coming off of an ACL injury. Let me tell you this, you have to overpay for talent like this when you, the Patriots, are a team have won a combined 8 games over the last 2 seasons. The Patriots are no longer the destination aging veterans go to take a pay cut. No, they are now looking at you for the highest offer. They are only going to go to New England if you give them the most money possible. This was clearly about Stefon Diggs taking the highest offer on the table, and I can't say that I blame him because I actually do believe this is a good situation for Stefon Diggs. I don't think he should go to a great team and take a minimal offer because I think the Patriots are going to give him the chance to put up the kinds of numbers he's used to putting up. They're going to make him their number one targeted receiver. They have that young quarterback in Drake May who many people believe in. The Patriots getting a number one receiver has been a long time coming. I mean, a few years ago, they were in on DeAndre Hopkins. He chooses the Tennessee Titans. Last year, they were in on Calvin Ridley. He chooses the Tennessee Titans. And things were starting to look very bleak this offseason. I mean, they weren't in on DK Metcalf. He goes to the Steelers. Cooper Kupp chooses the Seahawks. Devontae Adams goes to the Rams. The Patriots had way too much cap space not to end up with a real playmaker, and that's what they are getting in Stefon Diggs. I just don't see how you can be mad about that. I don't even want to remind you of the terrible drafting the Patriots have done when it comes to wide receivers. I mean, they do not know how to draft that position whatsoever, so they had to go outside of the organization, and they ended up with a guy who has been one of the best receivers in the league this past decade. And I do believe it's a little unfair to say he is past his prime. I mean, he's coming off of that ACL injury, but you have never seen Stefon Diggs not look like the elite Stefon Diggs he's been. And yeah, are you a bit paying for what Stefon Diggs has been in the past? Absolutely, but shouldn't you be? I mean, he's a 31-year-old receiver who's a four-time Pro Bowler who has put up legit numbers. Last year in 8 games, he still had 47 catches, so you'd think if he played out that whole season, he gets those 80 to 100 catches I was talking about that I want him to have with the New England Patriots. Yes, health will be a key for Stefon Diggs moving forward, but I'm not that worried about it. I guess where I'm not on board with everyone is this idea that this is a risky move for the New England Patriots. No, the risky move is entering the season with Demario Douglas being your number one wide receiver. I cannot go through another season of that, or even the idea that Kendrick Bourne is going to play like a number one receiver when we all know that's not going to happen. Kendrick Bourne is a good player. Demario Douglas is a good player. They are more like number 3 receivers each. This wasn't a risk at all for the New England Patriots. This was a move that had to be made. You had to get Stefon Diggs. He was the last big name on the board. A.J. Brown was never going to get traded to the New England Patriots. T. Higgins stays with Cincinnati. This was the guy you had to get, and it is a victory that you ended up with him. Now, I don't know how it's all going to play out. Again, the best case scenario is Stefon Diggs plays like the Stefon Diggs he's always been. Drake May takes that next step, and you've got something to build upon, and maybe next year you want to keep Stefon Diggs moving forward. The other thing that everyone talks about in relation to Stefon Diggs is that he's a diva wide receiver, and in most cases, you should avoid a diva wide receiver, especially if you are a team on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl, because that player can become a major distraction. Stefon Diggs became a major distraction in Buffalo, but in the case of the New England Patriots, you are a team that severely lacks talent. You are not a team that many people are projecting to win a lot of football games next season. That's why Stefon Diggs was getting annoying at the end of his tenure in Buffalo, because he was a distraction for a good football team. That will not be the case with the New England Patriots. I don't think they are going to be a very good football team next season. I believe in Mike Vrabel as a head coach. I believe in Drake May as a quarterback, but I don't see this team winning double-digit games or making the playoffs or anything crazy like that. I think they're at best a 6 to 7 win football team. And I keep going back to this idea that that Stefon Diggs won't have to demand the ball. The Patriots are going to want to give him the ball because he is far and away the most talented receiver on the roster. This is just a case where beggars can't be choosers. The Patriots are desperate for a playmaker like Diggs, and they wind up with Diggs. This is a good thing if you are a fan of the New England Patriots. I don't see this going bad. One could argue this is the best case scenario because there are people out there who are talking about Stefon Diggs like he's washed up. The expectations will not be super high. Again, my expectations are that he'll catch 80 to 100 balls. That's a decent season for Stefon Diggs. I think there are predictors out there that would be amazed if Diggs ended up with those kind of numbers on the New England Patriots. Whereas if the Patriots did end up with a bigger name like DK Metcalf, I think that would put real pressure on Drake May to produce right away because we've seen DK Metcalf put up numbers with Russell Wilson and Geno Smith. My point is people are just way higher on Metcalf right now than they are on Stefon Diggs. Yes, there is still a lot of pressure on Drake May to develop into a franchise quarterback next season, but I feel like that pressure is quieter than it would be if the Patriots had gotten that bigger top tier named receiver that would have put all of that pressure on Drake May to produce right away. It's because Stefon Diggs did not have a monster season with CJ Stroud and the Texans that the noise around him isn't as big as those other guys, but he has the capability of being as good as any of them. I mean, at his best, Stefon Diggs is a rival to DK Metcalf and Devontae Adams. Yeah, not gonna lie to you, I would probably be more excited if they had gotten one of those two players. I think DK Metcalf is a beast. He's one of the best receivers in football, and Devontae Adams is always an exciting name. He puts up huge numbers. But after the Patriots didn't get those guys, I did not think they were going to end up with Stefon Diggs. I think Diggs is a better fit with the Patriots than, say, Cooper Kupp would have been. I also just have all the faith in the world that Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels is going to get the best out of Stefon Diggs. It's a must for the New England Patriots to have as many proven commodities on the offensive side of the ball as humanly possible. And now they add Stefon Diggs to the mix. They still have tight end Hunter Henry, who I really like as a player. Demario Douglas will probably be able to develop even better now that he's the number 2 receiver behind Stefon Diggs, a guy who can teach him a thing or two. It's not just that the losing has made me upset when it comes to watching the New England Patriots, it's the lack of offensive talent on the roster. When you watch the Patriots over the last 2 seasons, they can't score points. I mean, they struggle to play modern football. I mean, they can't keep up with the highest scoring teams. And it was kind of weird that it looked like for a minute all of this offseason was going to be about the defensive side of the ball, which I kind of understand. When you hire Mike Vrabel, that's the side that he wants to concentrate on. But we are talking about today's NFL, where a team has to score at least 25 a game to be thought of as a decent team. And it would have been a real dicey proposition to go into the draft without a solid number 1 receiver. This is a short-term fix to a big problem, but all the Patriots need right now is a short-term fix because everything is about the short term. It is about developing Drake May. You don't need to think about the long term until you understand what you truly have in Drake May, because right now he is all potential. Should the Patriots be done at this position? Absolutely not. I mean, you have Stefon Diggs, you have Demario Douglas, you have Kendrick Bourne. That is not enough. I think they should be out there trying to get a number 2 receiver to go along with Stefon Diggs. And there were rumors out there before they got Stefon Diggs that they were interested in trading for former Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers. That is the type of guy I want back on the New England Patriots. A solid, steady hand who would go really well with a great playmaker like Stefon Diggs. You have those two guys along with Demario Douglas. Now you are really giving Drake May something to work with. Because even if Stefon Diggs is an elite receiver, you don't just want it to be the Drake May Stefon Diggs show. You want other people on the roster capable of making the big play, and Jacoby Myers is clearly that. And depending on how you feel about Demario Douglas, he has the potential to be that as well. Get as many playmakers on this roster as humanly possible. Because here's the reality of the situation for the New England Patriots. No matter how good the defense is, and I hear people already talking about them like they're going to be a top 10 defensive team in the NFL. I don't really know about that, but let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, they are. Even if they are that, if their offense is anemic, they're going to be a bad football team. They were a 4-win team last year because they couldn't score enough points. It's that plain and simple. That is their biggest issue. And Stefon Diggs is a starting point to fix that, but I don't view him as the solution to all of your problems on the offensive side of the ball. See, that's where this acquisition becomes tricky, because if you're asking Stefon Diggs to carry your offense, then you're asking him to be the Stefon Diggs that we all saw play in Buffalo, and I don't know he's that guy. Again, what I want from Stefon Diggs is that steady hand. Catch 80 to 100 balls and make the occasional big play. To put it bluntly, the Patriots just need to be a deeper offensive football team. Stefon Diggs is an answer, but he's not the answer, if that makes sense. I guess I just don't know how you can look at Patriots fans in the eye who have seen the last few years where they've had no playmakers on offense and tell them that this is a bad move for the Patriots. I don't see how you can do that. It's not a bad move. It's the move that the New England Patriots had to make. They needed Stefon Diggs, and Stefon Diggs needed a team like the New England Patriots. I don't think one of them needed the other one over the other. I think both of them need this situation to work. The Patriots need that established Stefon Diggs who can put up numbers and help Drake May grow into the quarterback that so many people believe he is capable of being, and Stefon Diggs still wants to be viewed as a number one receiver, and I think there are very few teams in the NFL where he would have been considered a number one wide receiver. I think there's just the perfect amount of pressure on this move. I don't think people's expectations are sky high. Again, I think people would be pleasantly surprised if Stefon Diggs had a Pro Bowl season for the Patriots next year. I like this move a lot, probably more than most people, but I also believe there should be another move made at wide receiver, whether that's trading for a former Patriot in Jacoby Myers or bringing in another free agent. The name Amari Cooper should be somebody who the Patriots are still interested in. I like the idea of having veteran wide receivers to go along with your young quarterback. I mean, what do you have to lose if you can get another veteran receiver at a reasonable price? I mean, the Patriots should be in on a guy like Keenan Allen, who always put up numbers when he was playing with San Diego, and even if he had a down year with Chicago, Allen still had 70 catches. The Patriots had a wide receiver room last year that makes you think they shouldn't be turning down anyone away. I don't care the baggage. I don't care that Stefon Diggs is viewed as a diva receiver. I don't care if Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen are getting any older. I don't care if you had to give up too much to get Jacoby Myers. The Patriots need wide receivers with talent on the roster. Stefon Diggs is a very good move for the Patriots when it comes to getting better in that department. I just hope they continue to make moves because it is in the best interest of the organization and in the best best interest of their second-year quarterback, Drake May. I don't know if this is all going to lead to the Patriots being a pleasant surprise during the regular season and becoming a playoff team. I don't know about all that, but I do know this. They are going to become a watchable product, something they have not been each of the last 2 seasons. They have not been an entertaining product, and that's something you need. If you're not going to be a great team, be a team that I can watch on a weekly basis. Be a team that I want to see play the game of football. That's where we are headed with the Patriots. Now you're not only excited about Drake May, you're also excited about Stefon Diggs. And coming from a Patriots fan, it's been a long time since we've been able to be excited about a wide receiver. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.